So, welcome back everyone to episode 13. So, in our last episode, we got our first couple of thousand people sitting out, 1,000 on each of these bodies, 4 new colonies for Earth, and I'm hoping that at some point this will kick off some civilian activity. But while we're waiting, we might as well try and be a bit proactive about it. So, Cargo 1. Movement orders. On Earth, load some infrastructure, load some colonists, and go to the moon, unload, unload the colonists, return to Earth. That'll take all of an hour or so. Load more infrastructure, load colonists, go to Mercury, unload installations, on all installations, unload colonists, return to Earth, load infrastructure, load colonists, go to Mars, unload all installations, unload colonists, move to Earth, refuel and resupply, and then I'll want that done, say, 10 times over. So I'm going to repeat it 9 times, and that'll keep that ship in a sequence going from one to another. The other ship, we're going to load installation infrastructure, go to Venus, unload all installations, go to Earth, repeat that 5 times, or 4 times, so it's right, and now load installations, infrastructure, load colonists, go to Venus, unload colonists. This is to ensure that there's always plenty of infrastructure for a small amount of colonists going to Venus. So you'll go 5 times with just infrastructure, and then once with some colonists and some infrastructure. And this should keep Venus from overpopulating too quickly. And then we go back to Earth, refuel and resupply, and we will repeat all of this 9 times. So that'll keep that ship going, and that should get us up to about 10,000 people on each of these bodies in that region. And at that point, hopefully, the populations will be big enough that we're going to attract some business. Okay, switching on. I again will be cutting the recording when we go into boring time so that you will only see the highlights. I'm trying to keep my volume up a bit louder, but unfortunately I seem to have quite a quiet speaking voice, and some people are Not fond of that, but you can always turn up the volume. Anyway, onwards. So, it has been a few days. Ships have been flying around like mad, and the Newton has completed its overhaul. So, it's got two lobes here of the some outer solar system, although there is stuff much further out again. But it should automatically set a task. What is the standing order? Surveillance body. Yeah, it should. Now that the overhaul is complete, it should start moving fairly rapidly. So we should see it take off from Earth. And yes, there we go. We're away. Okay, see you in a few more days. We just had a little ground combat research done. So armor for heavy vehicles has been researched, and we're now on to anti-vehicle weapons. So I'll be able to design tanks soon with that. We'll come back to that in a little while, but for now he's happy, and we will continue. Okay, improved pebble bed reactors. That's power and propulsion. So that gives us improved nuclear pulse engine technology on the horizon. We might as well get these cheaper ones in first. So, maximum engine power. I don't like to jump through the technologies for engines too quickly, because that means I'm constantly trying to play catch up with refitting the ships that we have. Tend to use sort of new engine technologies as the next evolution, the next step. When I get new engine technology, I'll see what other technologies have matured, and I can upgrade and do a single refit, a single generational refit every now and again. So I'm in not a huge rush to do that, but I will want to get it sooner rather than later. Okay, advancing time. So I missed it there in the rush, but we now have a civilian construction. The Amherst Container Limited has launched a new amateur small F3 class freighter. And as you can see, it is here loading infrastructure at Earth. Interesting. Now, I don't know what its movement is. If we go to civilian economy, how are we looking for infrastructure? Yeah, we have to modify that down. I'll say there's only 300 for now. Low gravity infrastructure is increasing. Automated mines 2, mass drivers 2, that's fine. Yeah, it's been supplying the moon with more infrastructure. It hasn't been venturing beyond, none of these have been touched, but the moon has received 150 infrastructure from them and about 22 from me. So that just shows you the efficiency of letting them run it. And the moon can now have 860,000 people living on it, and currently has about 10,000 people living on it. So there will be now an incentive to create a colony ship that can start taking people to the moon. Again, it's small, But the populations of all of these places have increased, but what they can support is not nearly as much as what the moon can support at the moment. And that's purely because the moon is getting all that infrastructure dumped on it. Likewise here, although we have quite a bit of infrastructure, it's only barely able to keep ahead of our population. Venus is a hard planet to live on. High pressure, horrible, let's see, carbon dioxide 96%, 89 atmospheres of it. Nitrogen, 3 atmospheres. Like, even if we took out all the carbon dioxide, we'd still have to reduce the nitrogen pressure down. And then introduce some oxygen. But we'll see how that goes. I mean, we do need carbon for making nanotubes and carbon fiber and all that stuff, so sucking carbon dioxide out of its atmosphere could be a cottage industry into itself. If I zoom in on Earth and zoom right in, you can see that ship is currently on the moon. Whereas cargo 1 is here, and if I cycle forwards, I lose track of Earth because Earth moves. But yes, it continues to cycle back and forth between the Earth and the moon. That's lovely. Research complete. Planetary sensors. And cargo ship 1 has finished its run, is now sitting pretty back at Earth. Sensors. Some countermeasures. And let me just have a look at our economy. We're making a small profit. Our production modifier is going up. Mining, gonna run out of fuel in 39 years, so we do need to get some of these external fuel sources mined. Otherwise, this could all grind to a halt. Right. Industry. I'm going to let this continue to increase to 50,000 tons, with the idea of designing a bigger ship at that scale, maybe as some sort of tow for moving giant platforms around. The Newton is going. Okay, on we go. So we now have our magazine feed efficiency up. Basically means you get more missiles in the same tonnage of magazine. And get some more agility for our missiles. We haven't designed any missiles yet, but we're not in a situation where we can even produce cutters, let alone destroyers. So, although now that I've got settlements, one of the things that these settlements will require is a police strength or protection required. the moment that's too small for it to matter. But if I let them get too big without having built any kind of a navy, yeah, that runs into trouble. Do we design our first? Tell you what, next time the Gauss rifle guy finishes, we'll design our first cutters. That's a good idea. So he, if I go to research by date, missile agility, Gauss scans, he's a good bit away. Yeah, it's a big project. But there'll be decent Gauss cannons at that stage, rate of fire 4. So that will get us. That is many years away. I don't think we can wait on him. Okay. Next time our any missile connect people are through, we will design and build ourselves some corvettes, mostly just to act as an anti-piracy patrol to give the people peace of mind that the space lanes are being policed. They'll be fairly ineffectual against actual warships, but against light civilian craft you would not want to go up against them. Okay. Okay, so we're back. Fire control speed rating has been researched up to 4,000 kilometers a second. Also, a second cargo ship was constructed, and it seems to have taken a mass driver out to this asteroid. So, if I go out here, yeah, it added one mass driver out there, which right now is not very useful. But, ooh, Lunar has one mass driver and 2 mines. So Luna is now mining stuff, stockpiling it, and now sending that back to Earth. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a 10-ton reserve. Copy that. So basically the idea would be Luna would hold on to 10 tons of everything. So if I needed to construct stuff, it will have some there. Now, most of these things it's not producing itself, but I will funnel deliveries to Earth through Lunar. So everything will eventually build up here, and that will mean I can build a construction factory on Lunar, so it can build its own infrastructure, maybe its own mines, those kind of things. So it has a bit of these things, it is starting to mine them, and most important of that from our point of view is there's a huge amount of fuel, because we're running low. So Luna has 3 times, many more than 3. We have 57,000. Luna has 1.5 million. So long as that keeps being fed back to Earth, we will not run out of fuel, at least not for, at this rate, 62,000 years, but that's hardly a fast rate of production. But yeah, those automated mines, they were taken there by the cargo ships, as was that mass driver, and a large amount of infrastructure. So if we look at our civilian economy, it still wants more infrastructure, it wants more automated mines. Earth doesn't have any of them in stock. And there ain't much I can do about that. I still have, I have a new mass driver, so add a supply 1. Hopefully that'll be taken someplace useful. But yeah, Mass drivers are good. Low gravity infrastructure has been taken. Some of it, I think. Three, it's 319. Infrastructure. We have a. Oh, we don't actually, because cargo ship there is still moving. That reminds me, how is Venus looking? Venus can now take 50,000 people. It has about 10,000 people. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice that it's coming up. It has 118 infrastructure, whereas Luna has 472. Mars has 22. Mercury has 22, and Mars is 22. So 450 of that was moved by civilians. Venus is going to need a lot of infrastructure in the long run, but that's why it has a big. Well, actually, it doesn't have a demand for infrastructure. Add a demand to actually 2,500. Enough for 1,000,000 people to live up there. It's going to take a while for us to build that, but we are building. And we're already up to 3,000 build points, where we were below 1,000 when we started. We have a lot of construction factories. Our conventional industry is decreasing. These rates will go up and up. We are now producing let's see, what was the thing? It was financial centers, building financial centers, yeah, where we were doing, one every 2 years. We're now doing more than two a year. That's nice. And then we're also converting some of the conventional industry to them. And that is much cheaper because we're not having to build them, we're just converting things over. So that's actually producing almost 8 of them a year. So we're probably getting about 10 financial centers every year. And that is adding up. Making a bit more money. We're staying just barely ahead of the curves, and that's with us modifying the shipyard. Yeah. See how we can do that. If that will get if this economic production modifier can get up to 100%, we'll be looking good. Okay. I'm not seeing many indications of new minerals being found though, and that is a worry. So we'll hold on. Oh, we have research complete, and I didn't do anything about that. Sensors. Get a good range. And we will let these tick away. Now, as we join back in, a civilian construction of a colony ship has happened. So I assume at the moment they're bopping back and forth at Mars. Also seems like one of the freighters has gone to Borley, probably to drop off a mass driver there, which is of limited use. I prefer Venus and Mercury got theirs early, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. Okay, and our cargo ship 2 has now completed its mission. So, Earth, you're doing alright. civilian economy. You've some low grav infrastructure. There's a little bit of infrastructure there. I was barely keeping pace with the ship moving back and forwards. We'll leave that for now. Luna, you have 360,000 people living there. But you can support that and another 2 million. That's lovely. You're going to grow very fast as more and more people move out there to live on the moon. A lot of them are going to be agriculture. There's quite a few will be in manufacturing, but we don't have any manufacturing up there. I'm going to say some of them are basically going to be supervising the automated mines. Now, I could move normal mines up there, and I suppose that would be cheaper. Actually, yes. Because on Earth, we are depleting our ability very fast. We're going to run out of thorium and calcium, or calcite, and carbamite. So what we need to do is get some of this stuff from here and from here, even eventually from here. Now, if you go to Venus, everyone there is working just to keep them alive. Absolutely everyone. There is no service industries, there's no manufacturing. It's 100% agriculture and environmental. We can support 6 times what we have, but it is very much just about staying alive. On Luna, there's some spare capacity. There's quite a bit. On Mercury as well. Now, it's not huge on Mercury because it doesn't have the population, but there's some spare capacity. Everyone doesn't need to, on Mercury or Mars, they don't need to be dependent on staying alive. On Venus, everyone is involved in just staying alive. So, on Earth, we have 62 mines. What if I add a supply of mines of, say, just 12 of those? And then on Luna, add a demand for 12 mines. That will shift people over. It'll give people on Luna jobs as they will start working in the mines, and hopefully that will help us balance out. How is our overall balance? Actually, we're doing all right. We're 65 points ahead. Tax on shipping colonists. There's the money. There's that 60 points. That's because we now have a colony ship and we're taxing them. Okay. This is looking good. I think we will leave that there for now and take this up in episode 14. So until then, see ya.